Welcome to Remote Learning. In this lesson, we will briefly explore the character of Lady Macbeth. So for this lesson, you'll need a pen and paper or a Word document open, and of course, your brain. So what we're going to learn today, in this lesson, we'll explore the character of Lady Macbeth and how she changes throughout the course of the play. So why are we learning this? Well, it's important that we understand and have an overall knowledge of Lady Macbeth's timeline within the play, as it will strengthen our analysis of this character's motivations. So how does this fit into our learning journey? So this is our third lesson of Macbeth, and next lesson we'll look at supporting characters. So our learning objective today is to identify how the character of Lady Macbeth changes throughout the course of the play and understand her motivations in the play. We will then apply this knowledge to an analytical task. So the first thing we're going to do is a starter, where I'll give you 5 questions in which to recall prior knowledge. Next, guys, is the teacher-led section of the lesson. So I will discuss Lady Macbeth and key aspects of her character. Then for the student-led part, I'll send you away to do an analytical task, and then I'll give you feedback. But as this lesson is recorded, your teacher will give you feedback personally when you submit it. Okay guys, so I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do these 5 questions. Off you go. So let's go through some answers. So number 1, which happened first? So Macbeth becoming king or Macbeth being promoted to the Thane of Cawdor? So first he is promoted to the Thane of Cawdor. Okay, so this is important because being granted more power makes Macbeth thirst for more. So number 2, why is Macbeth promoted to Thane of Cawdor? So King Duncan promotes Macbeth after his bravery in battle, so essentially replacing the previous Thane of Cawdor, who turned out to be a traitor. So number 3, who discovers King Duncan's dead body? So it's Macduff that finds King Duncan's body, okay, and he alerts the rest of the castle to this. Okay, number 4, who flees after hearing the king has been killed? So after hearing of their father's death, King Duncan's 2 sons, Malcolm and Donalbain, flee or run away. So connecting to question 4, so question 5, why do they flee? So Malcolm and Donalbain flee or run away because no one knows what's really happened, and they're concerned that maybe they will be killed as well. Okay guys, so for this activity I want you to match up the adjectives to the definition. So after this, look at the question for me. So from what you know about Lady Macbeth so far, which of these adjectives do you feel most strongly describe Lady Macbeth and why? So please pause the video here and complete these for me. Okay guys, let's match these up. So cunning means to act sly and in a calculated manner. Atypical means unusual, so not the expected standard. Influential means able to manipulate or control. Dominant means strong and commanding of authority. Deceptive means untruthful. And impassioned means full of strong feeling. So let's talk about Lady Macbeth. So Lady Macbeth is one of Shakespeare's most infamous female characters. So infamous in this context means famous for the wrong reasons. So she is cunning and ambitious and is a major protagonist in the story. So she encourages and manipulates Macbeth to carry out his bloody quest to seize the crown from his cousin King Duncan. So without Lady Macbeth, her husband might have never ventured down this murderous path that leads to their ultimate downfall, and she's often considered the fourth witch as she functions in a similar role. So in many respects, Lady Macbeth is more ambitious and power hungry than Macbeth. So in the play, she berates her husband, mocking him, and when he has second thoughts about committing murder, she questions his manhood by stating, "When you durst do it, then you were a man." So essentially she's saying here that if you was a man, you would dare to do this. So It is unusual in Shakespeare's day for a female character to be so boldly ambitious and manipulative, so she's unable to take action herself, perhaps because of her social restraints at the time, so she must persuade her husband to do it instead. Okay, so notice that Lady Macbeth's intelligence far outstrips Macbeth's own, and men during this period would have felt threatened by this. If Macbeth's biggest or most powerful weapon is his sword, and his greatest victory is his defeat of the Norwegian army, Lady Macbeth's biggest weapon is her words, and her greatest victory is manipulating Macbeth into the murder of King Duncan. So Lady Macbeth's skill with words clearly shows the audience of her intelligence and strength of character. So Lady Macbeth calls upon spirits to grant her the attributes of a man. Though this can be perceived as more metaphorical than literal, what Lady Macbeth is doing here is trying to transcend the limits of her gender because of what she perceives as a frail female body. So Lady Macbeth is closely linked to the theme of appearance versus reality and the corrupting power of ambition. So for the former, this attribute is key to conveying to the audience that Lady Macbeth is deceitful and hides behind a disguise of weakness and subservience to her husband. So this is due to the fact that she acts differently when she has a scene with any other character apart from when she's alone with Macbeth. So Lady Macbeth refuses to be bound by a patriarchal society, and remember, a patriarchal society is one where the men hold all the power. Okay, so she appears trapped in this type of society, but her downfall is her conscience, and the growing distance between herself and her husband contributes to this. So now consolidate your knowledge of the character of Lady Macbeth by filling in the Microsoft form provided in the link to this video. So in the corresponding box, write down any ideas that you might think of. So don't forget to use Google to help you, but please refrain from copying and pasting. So I'll go through feedback at the beginning of next lesson. Can you please ensure your work is saved and emailed to your English teacher where possible? If you're writing on paper, please keep these safely stored for when you return to school.